Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day, good week so far. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are all doing good. And we got the party turned into a riot story time. So don't get me wrong, there's been kind of moments like this at other parties, but this is the only one where literally everyone in the party came outside, right? Like it turned into a whole different kind of event. So just before we start, I want to tell two kind of similar events. One, the cops came to this party one time, right? And the party had kind of just started. What I mean by that is like we'd only been there for 30 minutes to an hour. Like it was early into the night, maybe like 9 p.m. Like we had barely gotten to party, right? All these cops showed up, probably 6, 7 cars deep, and they were just sitting in the front lawn, right? And every time people would come out, they'd be like, "Are you driving?" They'd try to breathalyze you. I don't know the laws exactly about if they're allowed to do that, if they have to pull you over, whatever. But then leaving the party, they had checkpoints at every point of the neighborhood. So whether, you took the breathalyzer or not, once you started driving, they pulled you over and then were like, "Were you drinking?" So that happened once, but it didn't turn into a riot. And one other time, this kid got arrested mid-party. They came into the party. They didn't shut down the party, but they took this kid because apparently he was wanted for something else. And then they left. But his friends were like yelling at the cops, hitting on the cars and stuff. So like that wasn't a riot either. That was like one friend group. But this is when it got intense, right? So, and also, like, I get it. I know the general, like, I am not a fan of cops. If you were to ask me anytime, or like, do you support the police? Do you like them? I'd be like, I get why they're a thing. You need them, but fuck them. That'd be my answer, right? But I know in all reality, if something horrible is going on, I'm getting kidnapped or something, who else am I gonna call? I get it, okay? Can hate them, but still understand they're important, right? That's how I feel. I don't care about them, don't like them, don't respect them, but I get they're needed, okay? Now, I'm just saying that because of my actions later on, okay? So we get to this party. I can't remember if I was driving or not, but probably not because I don't remember drinking at this party. I just remember smoking. So I can remember most of this because, I've been smoking for a long time every day. I can smoke, still remember stuff easily, right? Drinking, whole different story. So the fact I can remember so much of this, I would say I probably wasn't drinking. So we get there. I go straight to the backyard because I had weed and I wasn't trying to, hang out. Like I like the party scenarios, but I'm more antisocial than social, so I'd rather go smoke outside and talk to the stoners, talk to, a cute girl that's smoking also, rather than, sit by a bunch of people. So I'm out back 90% of this party, right? Like 90% of the time, because it was nice out, it was summer. So it's like 75, there were outdoor lights, there was a couch and stuff, so, or maybe not a couch, there were like padded chairs. So I just sat there and chilled and smoked, and I talked to a few people, but there was no like there was nothing special, right? I don't remember like there were no cute girls that I talked to for that long. Like maybe I said hi to them, maybe we talked for a minute, but nothing, I wasn't getting anywhere with anybody, okay? But then, of course, this is always a thing that makes me happy at parties, talking about the Bears, because listen, like if you follow the Bears on Insta, there's millions of people that love the Bears. A lot of people love football. When I go to parties, it was like I could never find anyone interested in sports. Or if I could, it would always be the Bulls. It was never the Bears, right? And I get they were worse back then, but when I could finally find someone to talk to about that, dude, that was the best. And that's what I was talking about, right? Now, like I said, I spent 90% of the party outside. When the cops came, I was inside. So what ended up happening is me and this dude talk about the Bears for probably like 40 minutes. And I'm the type of person that, like, if I'm at home and I have weed or whatever, I'm smoking it pretty much the entire time, like until, I go to bed. And there's not like a certain point I reach where I'm like, oh, this is good enough. I'm stoned. Let me chill. Let me not hit this for a little bit. It's just keep going, keep going, keep going. Because you reach a certain point and you don't really get higher, you know what I mean? Like, you're used to it, so you kind of just stay in that zone, and then even if you don't smoke for like an hour, you're like, damn, I'm still kind of stoned, because you just keep, smoking. So I was doing that. That's, I just kept getting higher instead of chilling, or not higher, but getting to that certain point. And I will say, what I just said only applies for like carts and bud, okay? If you take an RSO pill or if you take edibles, it's a different story. Obviously, it's a different kind of high. You're going to feel different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about bud and carts in this scenario, okay? So I go back inside once I got to that like point, or I don't know what I'm trying, threshold. When I got to that point where it was like, okay, I'm not going to get much higher than this. I'm just real stoned, smoking as much as I can, don't want to waste anything at this point. So I go inside and I'm like, you know, let's go find my friends. Let's go see what's going on. My friend is in this dude's room, right? So first of all, the party is like hanging out in the living room. There was a big TV that had, I don't know if it was Apple Music, Spotify. They had music playing through the TV, right? Most of the lights are off. And then there was the bathroom, and then there was multiple rooms with the doors shut, right? One of my friends was in one of those rooms with the door shut, and usually at a party, you don't open a shut door because what do you think's going on? You know what I mean? You don't open doors at parties like that. But you could hear like people cheering. So you open the door. This dude is playing like whoever's party it was, their little brother's Dance Revolution, or like the dancing game, you know, like the one with the mat on the floor. He's playing that shit and dancing around. That was hilarious, okay? The reason I remember that so vividly, I can't remember what song, but I remember him vividly, like, ripping it up, like he was doing good, you know? Like, he's doing the leg dances, like, flipping around. You get what I'm saying? Like, he was doing it good, like a movie character playing Dance Revolution, right? The reason I remember that so specifically, though, is right as we were watching him is when Havoc just started, right? Now, through the window, because this house had a lot of glass windows, you see the red and blue lights outside, but no sirens. Now, that's never a good sign, because then people start going, the cops are here, the cops are here. Now, there are different people when you yell cops at a party. There's the people that just run, that just dip out of there and get away from the house as fast as possible. There are the people that are like, think they're legally smart, and they're like, you know, the cops aren't going to come in unless we let them in, or so and so, like, they're not going to come in, blah, blah, blah. They just kind of sit there. And then there's the kids that are like, fuck the cops. I wish they'd, you know, the drunk kids usually that are like, fuck the cops. You know, they want to seem cool. They're like, I'll argue with these cops. I don't give a fuck. Well, usually it's like 30, 30, 30, or 33%. Like, there's kind of a little bit of everybody. I don't know what was up with this party, but maybe like 60% of the kids in there were like, fuck the police, you know, fuck 12. They come in and try to stop us. We're not stopping. Maybe a lot of kids had seen Project X. Maybe they thought we could do that. We couldn't. We didn't have 2,000 people. We had like 40, you know. We couldn't Project X this shit. There's no way to get rid of the cops here, right? Well, then more and more cops pull up, and everyone was staying inside until the kid whose party it was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go talk to him, right? He was one of the only people that wasn't like, fuck the cops, but he still was going to talk to him, right? So he goes out, and I didn't go out, so I don't know what he said. I'm sure it was a noise complaint or something, right? But as they're talking to him, then more cops come, and these cops have their sirens on, right? That made more people tweak out. So, like, maybe if I said there was 40, 50 people, I'd say 10 people dipped out the back. Like, they left entirely. Everybody else, including my friends, dude, the people that drove me to the party, they all are like, fuck the cops. They go out the front door, and they're all, like, yelling at the cops. They're yelling. They're screaming. They're going, go home, go home. They're chanting stuff. And these girls, dude, this happened at another party, too. Girls were twerking on the cop cars, like throwing it back in front of the cop cars and doing stuff like that. And this is when I say it turned into a riot, okay? Because at first we're just I'm saying we because I was out front, but I wasn't really doing anything. I was just watching, you know, observing everybody. But, you know, I was definitely grouped in with them. So I'll say we. Dude, at first it wasn't like a riot, it was just chilling. This is the point I said it was a riot, because people started throwing drinks at the cop cars, right? Like, I'm talking not just plastic cups, they're throwing bottles. People are throwing like the big vodka bottles, like things you do not want to throw at cops. As soon as they start doing that, the cop who they threw the stuff at, he turns his siren on rather than just the lights, gets out of the car. His partner gets out of the car. And like I said, there's like 6 or 7 cars there, okay? And then if there's 2 cops in each one, that's like 14, 15 cops. So then people start running, right? And more people are like basically trying to destroy the cop cars. When the cops left the cars and came up to us, people are trying to jump on the cars. People are like trying to fuck with the mirrors. Like, you get what I'm saying? Now, I'm sure they have a way, whether they lock the door or like maybe they didn't think any kids would try to steal the cars, which they didn't. No one tried to take a cop car, but it's like, why would you leave it unattended? You know, if people are fucking up the car, I'm sure they locked it or something. Like, you can't just, you get what I'm saying? Like, that'd be, or I guess if he has the keys, there's nothing to worry about. I didn't really think about that, but people are throwing stuff, yelling, and kids start evading, right? Like, they're running around the yard, they're running to the left, to the right, and the cops are just chasing everybody and yelling, and people are throwing shit. Well, now it's turned into a riot, I would say. Not fully, not like, like the downtown riots when buildings get destroyed. But I'm saying there are 40 kids here, or 30 maybe, in this front yard, either running from the cops, fighting the cops. Like, kids, if they got grabbed by the cops, they were, they were trying to throw them off of them. Like, they did not care about the charges. People were wrestling. Now, I'm standing there with one of my closest friends. All our other friends are involved in the shit going on, the riot, whatever you want to call it. They're fighting the cops, basically. I'm standing there, and then I kind of assess the situation. I'm like, okay, this is the same feeling as, like, being in 7th grade football and playing sharks and minnows, Like, look at all the cops. They're trying to tackle people. Everybody else is the minnows trying to evade. I just need to find a path where there's no cops and just run that way, right? So I'm observing everybody, and no one was coming up to us, no cops, because think about it. The cops are outnumbered like 2-1, okay? And they're catching the kids that are actually doing shit, throwing stuff, running. So I'm just standing there. No one's coming after us, but obviously we can't just stay in this front lawn, right? Now, our car is like 20 feet behind the cops, right? So I look at my friend and like we're discussing it, but we're also like amped up. Like I got like I'm going like this, like the running feet, Like I'm standing there ready to run, but we're discussing where we should go. I'm like, we can go to the right, we can go in the backyards, right? But kids went that way. We can go left into the backyards, kids went that way. We can try to go straight ahead, but like that's going to be the most dangerous option because the cops can grab us, but it's the quickest option. So I was like, fuck it, let's just go right now. So both of us start sprinting. Right in front of us, there's a cop car here lit up. There's a cop car here lit up. And then there's, I can't remember what was in front of us. There was no cars or anything, but there were people. You couldn't really tell if there were cops or not. Obviously, you could see the uniforms, but I didn't see a cop. So we start running. We're running forward, and I'm just hoping to God I'm not about to get tackled or tripped or tased or some shit. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I didn't want it to happen. So I'm just running. And the best way I can describe it is like the Sandlot when Benny finally jumps over the fence and gets the ball. That's how I felt, dude. Like when you break away from that crowd, like we made it through, dude. You can see the car. We're like halfway to the car. You hear people running behind us. It's like, fuck, just get us there. Just get us there, dude. We get to the car. We get in. Now listen, it's me and my friend. We still have 2 other people we're supposed to pick up who are like wrestling with the cops. My friend's the driver, so what I told him to do was just dip. Fuck those friends. Let's be bad friends. Like, they're fighting the cops. Fuck them. Like, let's just leave. They're going to get us in trouble, right? That was my mentality. My friend was more of a never leave a man behind kind of guy. He was like, fuck that. He drives up right next to the cop cars, like right next to him, and just parks, and he rolls down the window, and he's yelling our friends' names. Well, we see him over in the corner. Finally, they see us and acknowledge we're yelling to them. They run to the car with their backpacks and shit. We get in, we dip, dude. Now, just like the other party, if you're going straight, right, there were 2 ways to leave the neighborhood. You could go straight or left. To the left, there's hella cops parked down there, probably doing a checkpoint. Straight ahead, there's nothing. So we go straight and, we kind of curl around. And then again, there's cops in front of us. So we turn right. Dude, we had to do like Tetris driving. Like, we had to just do whatever. Like, we did not choose where to drive. We were just driving away from the cops. Finally, we get to this like random ass gas station, put in the maps how to get home, and then we were fine. But dude, like 2-3 days later, it was all over people's stories. And that night, of course, like people took videos, but I mean, people were posting like document things like, oh, I have to go to court, I have to do this, oh, I got arrested, I got in trouble. And it was like, damn, bro, like, I get the group mentality, like, hey, they're fighting the cops, I'll fight the cops, but dude, you can't get caught. There's 30 of us, like 15 cops. Don't get caught. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be better than that. That's how I feel about it. Like, they shouldn't have been doing those things, but like how me and my friend did it. We observed, like, it wasn't hard to not get caught on this night, and a lot of people got caught being dummies, so I don't know. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Sub, share, like, comment. Check out my other videos. If you're going through something, my Instagram is linked. Same name as my YouTube. Just go there, DM me. I'll get back to you within a day or 2. Thanks for watching. Be safe. Peace out.